Day 1 to 8:47 p.m., Cedar Ridge, Virginia. How well do you really know the person who smiles back at you every morning? A porch light flickers outside a quiet townhouse, and behind that light, Jenna Rowe hasn't answered a single message in 48 hours. Her front door's still locked from the inside. The dinner plates are still warm, but the reflection in her phone screen shows something that shouldn't be there. A man's shoes, right behind her last selfie. Missing, Jenna Rowe, 29. People thought Jenna's silence meant a breakup. But for Carol Monroe, her best friend, silence sounded like a scream no one else could hear. Detective Aidan Brooks stands in that same doorway 2 days later, tracing the faint outline of a fingerprint smudged across the doorknob. Too high for Jenna's height. Inside, nothing's stolen. Nothing's broken. Only one thing is missing, her phone. But the voicemail light keeps blinking, as if someone is still listening. Main suspect, Nathan Callum, 34. Nathan Callum, her boyfriend, perfectly polite, perfectly calm. When asked when he last saw her, he answers, "We argued." She needed space. But his timeline is off by 6 hours. And his alibi rests on a camera that mysteriously stopped recording that same night. 3 days later, a neighbor reports hearing a faint thud, followed by running water and the sound of something heavy being dragged. But there's no evidence of a struggle. No forced entry. Just one missing earring on the kitchen floor, the one Jenna never took off. When Carol logs into Jenna's shared photo folder, she finds a half-uploaded image, timestamped an hour after Nathan claimed she left. A blurred shot, a man's sleeve, and in the reflection of the window, Jenna's terrified eyes. Day 3 to 9:15 a.m., Cedar Ridge Police Station. Why does every story he tells change just a little? Nathan Callum sits across from Detective Aidan Brooks. Steady gaze, spotless shirt, rehearsed calm. He repeats that Jenna left after dinner, but the food on her table was never touched, and her car keys were still on the counter. Carol's voice trembles during questioning. She said she'd call me after he cooled off. That call never came. The phone never left the house. Detective Brooks exhales slowly, eyes fixed on Nathan's steady hands. If she walked out, he says quietly, why didn't she take her shoes? What if the smallest detail is the only truth she left behind? Detective Brooks returns to Jenna's home, light cutting through the half-closed blinds. On the windowsill, a single coffee mug, lipstick faintly smudged. Next to it, another mug, rinsed clean, still damp. 2 chairs pulled out, but only 1 plate served. The neighbor remembers seeing Nathan outside moments later, tossing something into the bin. Waste team records show the trash was collected early the next morning. Brooks whispers, she tried to clean up before it got worse. And suddenly, silence feels like evidence. What did the neighbor really see that night? And why did she wait to speak? An older woman grips her teacup, voice unsteady as she recalls that sound again. She remembers Jenna's porch light flickering 3 times, their silent signal for help. Then a man's calm voice, everything's fine, but Jenna's car never moved. Detective Brooks asks, why didn't you call sooner? Tears well up. Because he smiled when he saw me watching. That single line shifts the case. Charm wasn't kindness. It was control. What does a man hide when every surface in his life looks spotless? Detective Brooks steps into Nathan's garage. Faint scent of bleach and cologne. The floor shines unnaturally clean. Yet beneath the drain, luminol glows in branching lines. A pattern that doesn't belong to spilled paint. A single gold chain is found tucked inside a work glove. Carol identifies it instantly, Jenna's. Brooks closes his notebook. Charm fades, he says softly. But evidence never does. What breaks first? The truth or the man who built his life on lies? Nathan sits perfectly still, eyes fixed on the recorder's red light. Detective Brooks lays the gold chain on the table. No accusation, no shouting, just silence, and Nathan's hand starts to tremble. He mutters, she was supposed to stay, then looks up, almost relieved. I just wanted her to listen. Brooks writes one final note. Control was never love. How many warnings go unheard before silence becomes evidence? Detective Brooks stands in the quiet of Jenna's living room, untouched, frozen in time. Her phone was recovered behind a drawer, screen cracked but intact. The last text she typed was never sent. It read, "If I stop replying, it's because he won't let me." Nathan Callum was charged with second-degree murder after trace DNA matched the scene. Carol attends every hearing silent, clutching Jenna's old bracelet. Dr. Pierce's report confirms what everyone feared. The argument didn't end with words. In the press briefing, Detective Brooks says quietly, "She did everything right. She tried to leave." The room falls silent, and for the first time, her name is spoken for justice, not pity. Justice for Jenna Rowe. The house was sold months later, but neighbors still leave one porch light on. A small reminder that charm can hide cruelty. Say her name, and subscribe to the Veil of Secret to hold the silenced accountable.